Hi there, welcome to Live Stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are talking mats. A question I often get asked is, what is the best mat to use? What mat do I use? Now obviously this is based on my personal preference and what I have found works for me. And I don't believe that there's a right or a wrong here. It's all really about personal preference, and you've got to find what works for you. Yoga mats vary in thickness. On the thinner end of the scale, you're usually looking between a 3 and a 4 millimeter. At the thicker end of the scale, you're looking at a 5 to a 6 millimeter. I found that when I started my yoga practice, my preference was definitely for a thinner mat. I just felt more grounded, more secure on the mat, especially with balancing poses. Now this changed over time. The more time I physically spent on the mat, the more comfortable and confident I became on the mat, and the more I started experimenting and trying out new poses and movement, the more I could physically start feeling my bones. Think knees, think elbows, think hip bones, bum bones, even my spine, especially during spinal rolls. I just felt that I needed a little bit more cushioning on the mat. Unfortunately, when transitioning to a thicker mat, I found that it would often throw my balancing poses totally off. It would feel like I was sinking into the plush end of the carpet and I just could not find my footing on the mat. Also, when gripping into the mat, many of the mats would begin flaking and peeling, leaving me with an uneven mat surface, that it would almost look like my mat had been gnawed at by a mouse. Now, this uneven mat surface affects the way that you move and the ride that you experience on the mat. As I started sweating, I would begin slipping and sliding on the mat, and not in a good way. When I discovered the Manduka Pro, it was like, yes, finally, I found that I had found a mat that just checked all the right boxes for me personally. Let's take a closer peek at the mat, and hopefully I can show you why this mat is so amazing and why it worked for me. If you look at the mat from the side, you'll see that it is a thicker mat. It is a 6 millimeter mat, so providing that nice spongy cushioning that I was looking for. But even though it's a thicker mat, it still feels really solid. So when you push into it, it still feels like you've got solid floor beneath you. So balancing poses are a lot more intuitive. And this mat grips on two fronts. First, let's look at the undercarriage of the mat. And I really hope that I can pick this up on the camera. If you look and you run your hand across the undersurface, you'll find that it's got a beautiful honeycomb texture that allows this mat to really grip into the floor. So once you lay the mat out, this mat will not move. It will stay in place and it won't slip and slide underneath you. If you look at the top surface of the mat and you run your hand across the top surface of the mat, you also find that it has a slight striation to the top surface. This allows you great traction into the mat. So when you're gripping with either your hands or your feet, you feel solid on the mat. And even when you start sweating, that mat is going to stay solid beneath you. While we're here, an easy way to identify Manduka is looking for that little frog logo that you'll usually find on one of the corners of the mat. When I decided to buy my Manduka mat, I obviously had to be comfortable with spending a little bit more money on the mat. But this was an investment I was happy to make because this mat comes with a lifetime guarantee, never to flake, fade, or peel. In fact, this mat will last you a lifetime if you take care of it properly. If you are serious about your yoga practice, if you are serious about your mat, I would definitely recommend checking out the Manduka site. They have a bunch of mat options to choose from. When I was looking for a local supplier, I was pleasantly surprised to come across Yoga Essentials for two reasons. First, their pricing was really reasonable and it stayed stable. I found that a lot of other suppliers' pricing began skyrocketing, especially as we went into lockdown. Not so with Yoga Essentials. Also, their Customer service was great. They are really customer focused, really friendly and helpful and super efficient, almost too efficient. And I might be a little bit jaded here, but because I'm located in Cape Town and they're an online service based in Durban, I thought it was going to be an uphill battle to physically take receipt of my product. I had placed my order late on a Friday afternoon, and I was really pleasantly surprised to receive it first thing on a Monday morning. I was also able to track my order the whole time through payment, through processing, from pickup to delivery, which was great for my own peace of mind. I will include links on this post for both Manduka and Yoga Essentials. If you've got any questions, please shoot them through for me. But that wraps up today's post. I really hope that you found this information helpful. I shall see you all for playtime on the mat every day. Until then, keep it light.